Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Gateway to Grace call. My name's Elizabeth Tobin. I'm a certified resonance repatterning practitioner, and this is my monthly call where we do some resonance repatterning. People just show up, and whatever people bring into the field is what we work on. You can think of resonance repatterning as a way to flick switches on and off. So we'll be identifying some of the non-coherent or negative energy patterns that we're resonating with that would be good to switch off. We may also be identifying some of the coherent or the positive patterns that would be good for us to switch on. And as I mentioned before I started the recording, this is going to be recorded. I will put it up on YouTube for a replay so you can check in with it there. If you are listening to the recording after the fact, if you haven't been on the call live, you can also set your intention to proxy into the session, because when we're working with energy, when we do resonance repatterning, we can work beyond time and space. So you can, with your intention and my permission, you can include yourself into the session even after the fact. So let's just take a little bit of centering and grounding to create the space for the session, and then we'll see where we're going to go today. So just sit back and close your eyes, and I just invite you, while we're doing the session, probably take about an hour, give yourself the gift of presence, the gift of focus, by closing out any other screens you might have open, just allowing yourself to really land here in the group field and participate fully without interruption or distraction. And so connect in with your breath, breathing in and out through your nose as deeply as you can. And as you breathe in, breathe all the way down into your lower back. Fill up your belly like a balloon, expanding out at your ribs. And nice long exhales. And check in with your body. Notice any places of holding or tension. And breathe into those areas, filling them up with energy and breath and light. And as you breathe out any holding, any tension. And with each exhale, feel yourself release and relax and let go. And now bring your attention into your heart center. And as you breathe in, take in that unconditional love that flows throughout the universe. And as you breathe out, send out that unconditional love that resides within you. So there's a perfect balance, a perfect exchange of energy and love on the inflow and on the outflow. And know that you're surrounded by love, both within and without. And we surround ourselves in the healing energy of divine love. Only our deepest wisdom and highest guidance come through in this session. This session brings about the highest healing, transformation, and coherence for each of our highest and best. And each one of us accepts the full benefit that this session offers. We thank our highest guidance for assisting us in this process, and we give thanks for the gift of resonance repatterning and the greater well-being made possible through this session. And so it is. Okay. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just ask your permission to include you in the session and muscle check your energy field as part of the group field. And you can say yes if you'd like to be included. So may I have your permission to include you in the session as part of the group field? And if you are listening to the recording, you can also give your permission and be included in the group field. So just say yes. Okay. So at this time, I'm just going to ask the group field, how is it best to begin the session? So at this time, it's best for us to move in through the mandala. No. So it's best for us just to talk about any issues or intentions that people might be having at this time. Yeah, so we're just going to set the, set the stage for the session by just talking about any issues or intentions that you might be having. What would you like to work on today? What's up for you? What's going on in your life, in your world? Do you have any intentions that you'd like to manifest this month? Are you dealing with any challenges or issues that you'd like to move through? So, so Claudia, yes? I can see if I can unmute you. No. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. What I'm working on right now is like what's enough.
Mm.
You know, in various areas. Like, have I done enough? Am I doing enough? Is you know, enough food? Enough this? Enough that? You know, just that whole energy of like, what's enough?
Right, right. Okay, excellent. Beautiful, thank you. So you can mute yourself, okay? Anybody else have something you want to put into the mix here? Henny, yes, you've got your hand up. You want to unmute? Oh, you're still muted.
How to contribute and help the new earth.
Okay, so how to contribute and help the new earth. And do you have any ideas about what that might be for you?
To be more a light worker and help to raise the frequency.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got that in the mix. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have something to add? No? Okay. Let me just go to the chat room here.
Oh, okay. I have something.
Yes, who's that?
How to.
Who's speaking right now?
It's Starlight Demore.
Okay, I see you there. Thank you.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hey there.
How to maintain integrity in reality, in now time versus in the influences of past, of history, so that we can rewrite our future from this place, from ground zero.
Okay, very interesting. Beautiful, thank you. Right, awesome, very good. So what I'm doing is I'm writing all of these down, and so we're collecting the information, and then we'll see how those fit into the session as we go through. Okay, so I'm just looking at the chat room here. How to gear up for the future, inspiration for creating a new future. Nice. So that's from Leanne, beautiful. Put that into the mix here. So, sounds like people are ready to move forward. Okay. So, Yvonne, fixing things in your life, what kinds of things are you looking at fixing, and what might that look like for you?
So many things. I mean, it may take us all day for me to explain it all, but just things that in my life that got messed up, and I mean, especially when I moved to Roslindale, there were things that I trusted other people to help with moving my things, but they were very dishonest to me, and they took some of my stuff and just dumped them, and I feel very upset about it, and I've been trying to get legal help.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and this is not the ideal place I wanted to live in. I mean, I wanted to buy a house. I'm living in an apartment in a free family house right now, but I wanted a home of my own, a house, an actual house instead of a condo. I've been living in a condo for so many years.
Okay, great. So we'll put that in the mix. Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Right. Let's see. Anybody else have something you want to add here? Annette, childhood disappointments, being versus doing. Okay, we'll put that in. And that sounds a little bit like what Claudia was talking about, like how much is enough? How much doing is enough? So we'll put that in the mix here for Annette. Okay. All right. And let's see here. So I'm just going to check here. There's any more information that we need from the group at this time? Getting a no on that, so we'll move on. So at this time, it is best to move in through the mandala. Yes. Okay, so this is the mandala here. So this is sacred geometry. There are 6 different ways to enter into a resonance repatterning session. And I'm just going to muscle check the group field and find out where we need to start or where we need to go next. So at this time, it's best for us as a group to have something from orientation. There's something that we need from problems into opportunities, an intention for a new possibility. There is a repatterning that would be best for us at this time. Yes. So there are lots of different repatternings on lots of different topics. So again, just going to tap into the group field using the muscle checking to find out what's the best repatterning for us, given all of the issues and intentions that people have voiced into the session and those that maybe people didn't give voice to. Just by virtue of being in the session, your field is included. And so you're influencing this field and this session. So repatterning that we need at this time is something from A, it's something from B, something from C, it's something from D. So we're going to work with the meridian system, our meridians. So the 5 elements and the meridians. So the meridians are what the acupuncturists tap into, those points on your body. Those are meridian points. So there are a number of different repatternings that relate to the meridians that we can choose from. Again, asking the group field, what's the best repatterning here? And it's something from number 1. It's number 2. It's number 3. It's number 4. So we're going to do the moo point repatterning. So moo points are specific meridian points. And I'm just going to go to that page here. So the moo points access the core energy of each of the meridians. And they strongly activate each of the meridians' core strengths and qualities. And these points are located down the midline of the body. And then there are bilateral points, which are located on either side of the body. And it says that mu points can be particularly effective in transforming resonance with fears and phobias, as well as with other problems, pain, physical pain, problems, fears, phobias. So we shall see what we need to do here. So in terms of this mu point repatterning, we need to start with something from here. Yes, so we do need to ask this question, yes. So the question is, what's the problem, or the fear, or the phobia? And I'm just gonna check. At this time, it would be best for us to distinguish whether it's a fear, phobia, problem, or pain. No, not necessarily. Okay. So people had put into the mix some issues, some problems, and some intentions. So what I want you to do is just close your eyes and ask your mind to go into neutral and drop down into your heart. And I'm going to ask this question. What's the problem, fear, phobia, or pain that is needing this repatterning today? And just say whatever comes up. And you can either raise your hand, or if we have a small enough group, I might be able to see everybody on the camera here.
What came up for me was fear of failure and fear of exhaustion, like running. And then as I think about it, it's bigger because of the COVID, like running out of reserve, whatever that reserve is. So part of me is thinking that we have to take in now to prepare, so we don't run out. That's what we need to do now.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Carly. All right.
Yes, I just typed it in here, but it's lies, fear of the lies, holding from the past, from whoever has mentioned them through time and space, lies that hold us in purgatory, the collective.
Okay. Okay, excellent. So I'm just going to check here. There's anybody else that we need to hear from? No, so we have the information here. Okay, so we'll see now where we're going to go. So in terms of the mu point repatterning, and I'm just going to ask you, Leanne, if you could mute yourself. Awesome, thank you. Okay, so we've got, this is about fear of failure, fear of exhaustion, and running out of reserves. Yes. Is anything around the fear of the lies from the past that we need to work with at this time? Not right now. Okay. So that may get revisited as we go through this repatterning. So let us check our resonance with this. This is a general check. So fear of exhaustion and running out of reserves. So repeat after me, say that, fear of exhaustion and running out of reserves. Okay, and we are resonating with that, yes. Okay. So now what I want you to do is just take a moment and just visualize that, whatever that might look like to you. And we're just going to check your resonance with visualizing this issue. Yeah, and we're resonating with that. So now we need to go to this next section, which is, what do you want instead of this fear? This fear of exhaustion and running out of reserves. So, what do you want instead of that fear? And just say whatever comes up, and you can unmute yourself.
Strength. Strength.
Strength.
Sustained resources.
I think
Alignment. Oops, sorry.
Sorry. Let's see. So, you guys raise your hand. Who had that? So Claudia. Okay.
Alignment with the universal energy.
Hmm.
Mm. Mm.
Okay. And there was somebody else who had some.
Yeah, Leanne, am I
Yes.
muted? It's something about the alignment, sustainability, but it's gathering the energy and holding it. It's being kind of being a container for new energy and shifting the perspective to the silver lining of change and transformation and inspiration. I mean, this is an opportunity, even though it's very difficult for many. It's an opportunity.
Beautiful. Excellent. Okay. So I kind of paraphrased it here. All right. Being a container for the new energy and shifting our perspective to the silver lining of change and inspiration to manifest the opportunity. Does that sound about right? Cool. Very good. Okay. So let us see. I'm just going to go into the chat room here. Okay, so there's a couple more problems people had put in, feeling sad for what's missing at this time. Hugs versus appreciation for what is and living in the moment, right? And isolation from help needed to deal with issues bigger than me. So we'll put those into the mix here. Okay, so let's see where we need to go with this. So this is, what do we want instead of this fear of exhaustion and running out of reserves? So this is about sustained resources. It's about alignment with universal energy. Yes. And it's also about this idea of gathering and holding it and being a container. Yes. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to formulate the statement that represents the pattern for our new possibility. Okay. And I'm gonna put this in the chat box so you guys can see it. Let's see if I got it all. I did. Okay, so this is a general check. So repeat after me. Say, I am in alignment with the universal energy.
You're in alignment with the universal energy.
I gather the energy and hold it.
Gather the energy and hold it.
I am a container for the new energy.
You're a container for the new energy.
And I shift my perspective to the silver lining
Shift my perspective to the silver lining.
of change and inspiration
Change and inspiration.
to manifest the opportunity. Yeah, and right now we're not resonating with that at this moment. So we are off for that. But that's okay because we're only identifying what needs to shift here, so we can shift that on. We need to look at this next section about the earlier experience. Yes, we do. This next section is looking at an earlier experience that somehow causes this continued fight, flight, reflex response, manifesting as this fear of exhaustion and running out of reserves. And there's a specific age that we need to focus on. Yes. So the age that we need to focus on is between, it's 10 years old or younger. Yes. It's younger than 5 years old. Yes. It's younger than birth. No. So it's 5, 4. It's as a 4-year-old. Okay, so this part of the repatterning process is where we look at an earlier experience and kind of deconstruct it to identify what was the imprint that that experience left on us that is less than optimal, that gets reactivated and superimposed on our present life, our relationships, our responses, our situation. And when we're, whoops, see, and when we're working with a group, sometimes one person's experience can proxy for everybody else's. So each of us as individuals has our own unique experience, and each of us as a part of the collective human body has patterns that we share with everybody else. So even though the specific experience may be unique to us, the patterns are common to all of us. So let's see what we need here. This specific experience, we need to identify who might have been involved. Yes, so it was a parent, it was mother, it was father. So something from 4 years old involving father. So what I'd like you to do, again, is just close your eyes, connect into your center, ask your mind to go into neutral, and drop down into your heart. And what's the earlier experience from 4 years old involving father that is underlying this fear of exhaustion and running out of reserves? And you can let me know when you've got it. Anybody?
There's no room for you in my life.
So that's what we need to look at. Yes. So Starlight, what was going on at that time that brought that that to the forefront? What was going on?
There was a new baby, and there was a new man, and my mother was cheating on my father. And there was some confusion with the children because my dad was still living in our house. So the children being myself, my brother, and my new baby sister.
And when you say confusion, you mean about whose child it was?
Well, that was, I mean, what I know now is that it was a lie that my mother told my father that the child was his, but it was ultimately the stepfather, you know, who isn't the stepfather yet, right? Because we were still with my father. So there was confusion for us to know who was our dad, because my mother was giving her attention to this new man, but we were still living with my father.
Okay. So I'm just going to check here. There's anything else that we need in terms of any more details about this
Yeah.
situation?
Yes. No.
I'm getting a no. Leanne, was that you?
Yeah, I just wanted to articulate the similar in terms of not being paid attention to. What came to me was that's when I became like too much for my father and didn't know how to deal with me as, you know, a young 4-year-old, getting more and more precocious and asking questions. And so I believe this fear of exhaustion and running out of reserves stemmed from me saying, well, I have to do whatever it takes to get his attention and approval. And that drove my life for many years.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that.
I agree with that as well. I resonate with that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's go back here. We're going to check this experience. Yes. So this is a general check. So say my parents have a new baby. My mother is cheating on my father. There is confusion for us children to know who is our father. And that's resonating. Okay, that is on. And it's interesting about how that relates to that fear of exhaustion and running out of reserves, right? Because the father represents the energy of support. And, you know, traditionally the father is the breadwinner, the one that, you know, provides for the family. So this fear of running out, like if this guy's not our father, who's going to provide? Who's going to keep the reserves full, the pantry stocked? Okay. So now let's look at the underlying need that was missing from that time. And I have an index here of different life needs that are broken down into the different stages of development. So the need is something from number 1. It's number 2. Yes. So this is the physical need for health and energy. And there are 10 options. It's something here from 1 through 5. It's number 6. It's number 7. Yes. I do those actions that lead to health and energy. Without going into exhaustion and overdoing, right? So this is a general check. So say that, say, I do those actions that lead to health and energy. And right now we are not resonating with that. So that's something that we can switch on. Okay, and that, let's see. What's needed here? So the negative feeling. So what do you imagine was the negative feeling you had in that situation?
Abandonment.
Hmm. Abandoned, yes. There's another feeling we need to look at. No, that's it. So this is a general check. So repeat after me. Say, I feel abandoned. And that's resonating. That is on. And you can see how that would get in the way of maintaining our alignment with the universal energy and gathering and holding it and being the container. You know, if we're feeling abandoned, we're feeling disconnected from that energy. Okay. So the negative belief that we need to look at, it is this one about there's no room for you in my life. I'm too much for my father. I have to do whatever it takes to get my father's approval. And there's another negative belief that we need to identify. Yeah. So there's another negative belief. So what do you imagine is the negative belief?
I'm not good enough. I'm not enough. I'm not enough. I'm not good enough.
Right, right. And that's, yeah, that's the crux of doing too much. You know, I'm not enough, so nothing is enough. Okay. So let's just take a little pause and sort of sit with that a moment. Okay. Yeah, and so Anne had mentioned that feeling of unsafe, and Yvonne had mentioned having her feelings dismissed. What I feel doesn't matter. Yeah. So all of that is included here. So let's see what we need to muscle check. So we're going to muscle check a primary here. Yes, and the primary, and I'm just going to go down the list. It's this one, this one. It's I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. That's the primary that we need to switch off, and all the others will follow from that. Okay. So this is a general check. So say, I am not enough. I am not good enough. And we are resonating with that. That's on. Okay. So now this piece that we're going to do next is about going back and rewriting that script. So what new memory imprint would you like to create? So this experience is over, but what's left is the resonance, the energetic resonance about what happened is recorded in our mind and in our field. And so now in the present, our imagination continues to trigger that old fight, flight response, that fear response, right? Running out of resources, reserves, getting exhausted, depletion. So now, once we resonate with what we might have wanted instead, then we create new neural pathways for a positive response. And so this is kind of like what we talked about, being able to shift the perspective to see the possibilities. So what would you have wanted instead of that experience where your parents have this new baby, your mother is cheating on your father, and there's confusion about who your real father is? So Starlight, what would you have wanted instead of that?
Understanding, being included in the family conversations, coming from a place of unity, that we're all together, and this new family member joining us, not excluded, that we're all equal.
And who's the new family member?
The youngest at that time, which was my sister Danielle.
Yeah. Okay, so the baby, yeah.
Right. And coming with that was also an energy of another man as a father. Yet that didn't come yet. That was pre new dad in the house. But it was developing a new vibration and a new affinity for a new person to take the role of my old father. Not my old father, but my actual birth father.
Yeah, so let's see here. We need to include that. So if you could like rewrite this any way that you wanted, what would be the ideal?
That we would all live in harmony, in reverence for one another.
Mm. Beautiful. And that's it. Yes. Okay. So there's anything more? No. So we need all of this. Yes. Okay. All right. So this is a general check. So say, I feel understood and included. Our family conversations come from a place of unity. My baby sister, the new family member, joins us, and we are all equal. We all live in harmony and reverence for one another. Yeah, and that is off. We are not resonating with that. Okay. I'm going to put that in the chat box here. Good. And Leanne had put in, I am seen and engaged with by those adults around me. I am validated for being perfectly imperfect. It's beautiful. And Carly says, feeling of thriving instead of surviving. Yeah, great. Okay. So let's look at this in terms of a generational pattern. Yes. So the generational pattern is the belief, the feeling, it's the underlying need. So that underlying need of doing those actions that lead to health and energy, that lack of that is a generational pattern that we need to switch off. And this is on our mother's side, it's on our father's side. It's from 1 through 5 generations. It's 1, it's 2. Okay, so this is 2 generations. That lack of doing those actions that lead to health and energy. Basically, it's a lack of really honoring and nurturing ourselves. So this is a general check. So say 2 generations on my father's side. And that is on. So that generational pattern we can clear as we go through here. Okay, so now we're going to do the modality that's needed here is to work with the moo points. Yes. And the moo point that's needed is one of these midline, one or more of these midline moo points. No. So we need to work with one or more of the bilateral points. Yes. So it's more than one. So it's just one of them. Okay. So it's number 1, number 2, number 3. So this is the moo point for the liver meridian. Liver meridian, part of the wood element. Anger is the non-coherent emotion. Hope is the coherent aspect of it. It's about planning and vision, new beginnings, new possibilities. It's about growth, positive self-assertion. So let's see what we're going to do with this. So right now, what's needed is a tuning fork. We're going to use the color filter torch. Yes. So this is a flashlight with, these are the Dinsha color filters that we're going to use. And there are 13 of them. So what we need is, the color is from 1 through 5. 6 through 10, it's number 6. So it is green, the color of the wood element. Green is, brings harmony and calmness. We all live in harmony, right? It brings it harmony, calmness to your whole system. It's a master color. It balances the cerebrum in the brain. It builds cells and tissues. It benefits the heart, stimulates the pituitary. It's an antiseptic, a germicide, a disinfectant, prevents decay. Green on the emotional level brings peace, serenity, balance, restoration, rejuvenation. And it relieves tension and regulates the etheric body. So green sounds like the perfect color given what we had started with, those issues and intentions around the fear of failure, the exhaustion, the fear of exhaustion, running out of reserves. knowing what is enough, how to contribute, how to maintain integrity. Okay, so we're going to shine this color green. And this is on the right side of the body. It's on the left side, on the left liver meridian moo point. I have a chart here. I will show you where this is on the chart. So it's, I don't know if you can see this. Let's see if I can show it to you. So liver, it's right here. I don't know. Can you see that okay? So it's, this is on the left side. Okay, so there's anything else that's needed with this? Yes, we need one of the crystals. It's one of these crystals, yeah. So I'm gonna shine this green light through a crystal, one of the platonic solids, and it's this one. It's this one. Ah, the octahedron for the heart. And the color green also relates to the heart chakra. So connecting with our heart. So I'm going to shine this green light through the crystal. And it's going to be just as if I'm shining it right there on the point on each of our liver meridian. So here we go. Just relax and breathe. And that is complete. Yes. Okay. So we'll just take a moment and let that integrate. I'm just going to see. I might have a little more information about this specific point. So the name of that point is the Gate of Hope. No, I don't have any info on that, but that's okay. Gate of Hope, that's all we need to know. Okay. There's another modality that we need at this time. No, okay. So now we need to go back and recheck the statement. So this is where we go back and we recheck to confirm what has shifted. Okay. So repeat after me. Say fear of exhaustion and running out of reserves. Yeah, and we are not resonating with that. And now just visualize that. See if you can even like call that back up into your mind's eye. Yeah, and we are not resonating with that. That is off. Beautiful. And just notice what that feels like as we go through and recheck these statements. Okay. So then we move to, so what was it that we wanted instead of that fear of exhaustion and running out of reserves? And this is what we came up with. So repeat after me. Say, I am in alignment with the universal energy. I gather the energy and hold it. I am a container for the new energy. And I shift my perspective to the silver lining of change and inspiration to manifest the opportunity. Yeah, and that's resonating. That is on. Nice and strong for that. Beautiful. Okay. And now, this was the earlier experience. Say, my parents have a new baby. My mother is cheating on my father. There is confusion for us children to know who our father is. And that is off. We are not resonating with that. And now this is the unmet need. Say, I do those actions that lead to health and energy. And we are resonating with that. Beautiful. That is on. Nice. And this is the negative feeling from that experience. Say, I feel abandoned. Okay, that's still on. We're going to come back to that. Sometimes these shift in different orders. So let us see. This was the negative belief. Say, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. Okay, that is off. We're not resonating with that anymore. Excellent. And this is the new memory imprint. These are the neural connections that we want to reinforce. I feel understood and included. Our family conversations come from a place of unity. My baby sister, the new family member, joins us. And we are all equal. We all live in harmony and reverence for one another. Yeah, and that is resonating. That is on now. Beautiful. And then we're going to clear this generational pattern of not doing those actions that lead to health and energy. So clearing that, say cleared to 2 generations on my father's side. Good, and that is cleared. Excellent. And now we'll go back and recheck that, that negative feeling from the earlier experience. Say, I feel abandoned. Yeah, and that's off. Nice. So that has shifted. Beautiful. So everything has shifted. And I'm just going to check here. there's anything more that's needed from this session, no, the session is complete. Yes. Wonderful. Well, thank you everybody for joining in, and I'll be happy to stay on the line and answer any questions, or if you have anything that you'd like to share. My name's Elizabeth Tobin. I do resonance repatterning. I do sessions with people one-on-one over the phone or the computer. I also do group sessions. If you are interested in tuning the repatterning process specifically to you and your situation, if you'd like to do an individual session, you can email me at et@liztobin.com and we can set something up. So, any questions or comments, any input that you'd like? Starlight says, thank you. Myra says, so powerful. Love the octahedron and green light and its effect. Yes, yes. Dan says, thank you. Lovely. Great. Man, thank you. Larissa says, thank you for your time and work. You're most welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. So I do this every month on the first Monday of the month at noon Eastern time. So the next one will be the first Monday in August. So we will see you then. All righty. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording.